The entire world is buried in debt. Every nation, big or small, rich or poor, ancient or modern, carries numbers so massive that they no longer resemble reality. The United States has passed $38 trillion. The European Union circles 14 trillion. Japan is above 9. Even countries with endless oil, like Saudi Arabia, or industrial giants like Germany and China, are neck deep in debt. And here's the paradox no one likes to talk about. If everyone owes, then who exactly is being owed? The answer is simple and uncomfortable. The world owes itself, but that doesn't mean everyone wins equally. Far from it. Debt has never been just a financial issue. It is the invisible skeleton holding the modern world upright. Every war, every crisis, every boom, all share the same backbone: debt. The global economy is a massive web of promises that may never be fulfilled. To understand how we got here, we need to go back, before the internet, before modern banks, even before the idea of a credit card. Everything started on a battlefield. In 1694, England was fighting France and running out of gold. Desperate, the king turned to merchants for help. In exchange, he promised future interest payments, backed by taxes that didn't even exist yet. That's how the Bank of England was born, and with it, a new kind of power. For the first time, a state could spend money that didn't exist, and creditors could trade that promise as if it were gold. The government bond was born, the DNA of the modern financial system. France copied the idea, the Netherlands perfected it, and the newly independent United States used it to finance its expansion. 2 centuries later, the entire world relied on this mechanism. Today, debt is the planet's main export. Every 100 days, humanity creates the equivalent of another $1 trillion in new loans, and without realizing it, you're part of this system too, through taxes, investments, savings. Everything ties you into this endless network. Let's start with the United States, not because it's special, but because everything inevitably flows through it. Of all the money the US owes, half is held by investors and financial institutions. 2/3 of them are American banks, pension funds, insurance companies. The remaining third sits with Japan, China, the UK, Luxembourg, and others. So when someone says the US owes China, that's only half the story. In reality, most American debt is held inside the US itself. The Treasury issues bonds, banks buy them, the Federal Reserve buys them from the banks, and citizens pay the interest. A mirror inside a mirror, this cycle repeats everywhere. Japan buys US bonds, the US funds Europe through the IMF, Europe funds developing nations through the World Bank, and those nations store their reserves in American and European banks, a giant electrical circuit made of promises. Behind every government bond are invisible institutions, investment funds, pension funds, central banks controlling trillions. They decide who gets cheap money and who must pay a painful price to survive. When they lose confidence in a country, collapse follows. Currencies crash, governments fall, and above all of them stands the true god of the system, the central bank. It doesn't just manage debt, it creates it. When it buys bonds, new dollars appear out of thin air. Every dollar in existence is someone's debt. The system works for only one reason: confidence. As long as investors believe governments will keep paying interest, even if the principal is never repaid, the machine keeps running. But history shows what happens when confidence disappears. Greece in 2010, Argentina again and again, Sri Lanka recently. When trust evaporates, the country collapses. Yet the cycle always restarts. Because debt was never designed to be paid off, only renewed forever. That's the quiet truth almost no one says aloud. Governments refinance, roll over, and issue new bonds to pay the old ones. Capitalism depends on this, the way a body depends on oxygen. Government bonds aren't threats. They are the most desired assets on earth. Banks, funds, entire nations rely on them. If governments decided to pay everything off, the world would collapse. Money would vanish. Banks would lose their safest holdings. Paying off the debt would destroy the system itself. And here's another uncomfortable truth: saying the world owes itself is only half true, because the interest paid by workers climbs upward, straight into the hands of the largest funds at the top. That's why inequality and debt grow together. One feeds the other. When new loans stop flowing, the engine sputters, confidence cracks, and then money reveals what it truly is: a story. Money is just a promise. As long as we believe in it, everything works. Once we stop believing, nothing else matters. Here's what most people never notice. The system doesn't need you to understand how it works. It only needs you to believe that it works. Every banknote, every account balance, every value you see, is a universal IOU. We are all creditors and debtors of the same dream, a dream held together by collective faith. And if that faith falters, the entire castle of promises collapses, just like anything built on something that never truly existed. If you made it this far, you belong to the minority that doesn't accept easy answers. People who want to understand what really moves the world. Congratulations, few get here. If this video changed the way you see money, share it. Information like this is power, and the more people know, the harder they are to manipulate. The next video goes even deeper into the hidden machinery of the financial system. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, and continue the journey. And if you want to take the next step right now, click the video on your screen, because understanding the system is the first step to not being swallowed by it.